So today we are reading from Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, entitled Lord Vishnu's Appearance in the Sacrificial Arena. Text number 37. Bhagavan api rajarshe sopadhyayasya chachyutaha haranniva manomrishya svadhama pratyapadyata. Word for word, please repeat. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Api, also. Rajarishe, the Saintly King. Saupadhyayasya, along with all the priests. Cha, also. Achyuta, the infallible Lord. Haran, captivating. Iva, indeed. Mana, the mind. Amushya, of him. Svatama, to his abode. Pratyapadyata, returned. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead, having captivated the minds of the king and the priests who were present, returned to his abode in the spiritual sky. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is all spiritual, he can descend from the spiritual sky without changing his body, and thus he is known as Achyuta, or infallible. When a living entity falls down to the material world, however, he has to accept a material body, and therefore in his material embodiment, he cannot be called Achyuta, because he falls down from his real engagement in the service of the Lord. The living entity gets a material body to suffer or try to enjoy in the miserable material conditions of life. Therefore, the fallen living entity is Chuta, whereas the Lord is called Achyuta. The Lord was attractive for everyone, not only the king, but also the priestly order, who were very much addicted to the performance of Vedic rituals. Because the Lord is all attractive, he is called Krishna, or one who attracts everyone. The Lord appeared in the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Prithu as Kshirodakshayi Vishnu, who is a plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. He is the second incarnation from Karanadakshayi Vishnu, who is the origin of material creation, and who expands as Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, who then enters into each and every universe. Kshirodakshayi Vishnu is one of the Purushas who control the material modes of nature. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangun Lagaite Gurum Yakripatamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation again. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead, having captivated the minds of the king and the priests who were present, returned to his abode in the spiritual sky. So a person is known as attractive by the activities they perform, by the features of their body, and also by the qualities that the person has. In his Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami lists 64 principal qualities of Sri Krishna. Although Krishna has unlimited qualities, but these are the 64 most prominent. The first 50 qualities, Srila Rupa Goswami explains, can be present within the infinitesimal spiritual spark, the jiva, as long as they become a pure devotee. That's the prerequisite. So after those 50 qualities, Srila Rupa Goswami lists another 5 qualities that are sometimes present in the body of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Those qualities are that they're changeless, that they are all cognizant, they are ever youthful, they possess a Satchidananda body, and they possess all the mystic cities. So apart from those 55, there are another 5 qualities that are manifest in Lord Narayana. And those are that he is the possessor of inconceivable potency. Innumerable universes emanate from his body. He gives salvation to the enemies that he kills. He is the origin of all incarnations, and he is the attractor of liberated souls. So that brings us to the number 60, first 60 qualities. So apart from these, there are another 4 qualities which are only manifest in Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The first one is Prema Madhurya, that the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is always surrounded by loving devotees. He is never alone. Srila Prabhupada explained to one of the artists that were painting for his books that Krishna should never be alone. And Krishna is never alone because he likes to be surrounded always with his devotees. That's how he reciprocates with them. You know, one of the characteristics of pure devotional service is Sri Krishna Akarshani, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is all attractive, but pure devotional service is so attractive that it attracts even Krishna. You know, so Krishna is attracted to his devotees because of their service, because of their love, and he wants to reciprocate with them. Therefore, Prema Madhurya, he is always surrounded by his associates, by his devotees. Then there is Lila Madhurya, that he is always engaged in sweet, loving pastimes with his devotees. Like with the cowherd boys Sometimes they go to the banks of the Yamuna with their packed lunches that their mothers have made for them. And they all have a picnic on the banks of the Yamuna. And the cowherd boys, they're so absorbed in love for Krishna, they only want to give Krishna the best. So they sample a bit of all the preparations that their mothers have made them. And then they offer Krishna the best preparation. So Krishna is receiving the remnants of his devotees, the cowherd boys. And sometimes the boys play pranks on Krishna. They say, Krishna, close your eyes. I want to put a laddu in your mouth. And then they stick a flower in Krishna's mouth. And Krishna makes a wry face. Ugh. So there are so many wonderful stories, wonderful pastimes of the Lord and his activities that he performs. One time, Radharani and her Sakhis, they were sorting through all their jewelry, and Krishna happened to be walking by with Sudama, and when Krishna saw the gopis sorting through their jewelry, he approached the gopis, and exclaimed, that you should give me the best pearls that you have. I want to adorn my cows. I want to make pearl necklaces for my cows and decorate their horns with your best pearls. And Lalita, in a very, sarcastic voice, she says, "O hero of Braj, our pearls are not good enough for your cows. Therefore, you should go and find your own pearls." So Krishna went off, and he was determined to find some pearls to decorate his cows. And therefore he approached Mother Yashoda, and he said, "My dear mother, I want to grow some pearls so I can decorate my cows." And Mother Yashoda, she was thinking, my son wants to grow some pearls? How can someone grow pearls? But Mother Yashoda, she was so captivated by the honey-tongued words of Krishna. She submitted to, okay, my son wants pearls, I better give him some pearls. So she gave Krishna the best pearls that she had in her treasury. And then Krishna went out into the fields of Braj with his friends, and they planted pearls in the soil, the magical soil of Braj. And then Krishna thought, well, the pearls, they're not going to grow unless they're watered. So therefore we should get milk and cream to water the pearls with. So then he approached his mother again and said, "Mother, you must give me the best milk that we have. I need to water the pearls so that they will grow." And again, Mother Yashoda, she was bewildered by Krishna's sweet words. And so she gave Krishna all the best milk she had. And then, so Krishna, he's walking along the line of pearls that he had planted and watering them with milk and cream. And the gopis, and eventually, the gopis, they saw what Krishna was doing and they were laughing at him. How ridiculous is this? He's expecting to grow pearls. No one's ever grown pearls before. And using milk to water them? How ridiculous. But then, to everyone's amazement, the pearls sprouted and grew into vines. And within a very short period, they had these huge pearls on the vines. No one had ever seen such large, beautiful pearls before. And then Krishna harvested the pearls. So these pearls, they diminished the beauty of the pearls that the gopis had. Therefore, Radharani and her friends, they devised a plan, that we must get better pearls than Krishna. So they also went to their mothers, and they requested for pearls. Actually, no, they didn't. They just went to the treasury and they took the pearls without asking their parents. And they planted all the pearls that they have into the ground. And then they also got milk and did exactly the same what Krishna did. But when the pearls sprouted, they got a nasty surprise. Those creepers that came up from the pearls, they just bore big thorns. And they were so distraught. We've just lost all our pearls. Our mothers are going to be so angry at us. We don't have any pearls at all. So then the gopis, feeling very humiliated, the only way that they could get the pearls back to replenish the treasury was by approaching Krishna and humbly begging, "Please, Krishna, please give us some pearls." So then eventually, Krishna, after much joking, gave the gopis some pearls back. So there are many, many sweet pastimes that the Lord performs with his devotees. And then the 63rd quality that Rupa Goswami mentions is Venu Madhurya, that the sweet melodious sounds coming from Krishna's flute. This sound, it completely and utterly bewilders the residents of Raj. We hear how the birds become stunned in meditation like great sages. When the sound of Krishna's flute touches Yamuna, huge whirlpools manifest in her waters, and she even starts flowing in the opposite direction. We know the effect that the flute has on the gopis, right? In the middle of the night, when they hear the sound of Krishna's flute, they leave everything. They leave their husbands, they leave their household duties, they leave their babies, and they run to the forest to find Krishna. And even the cows of Braj. It's described that Nanda Maharaj, he has 900,000 cows. And these cows, they live in a palatial barn. That this barn is described in Shastra that the walls of the barn are made of crystal. It is bedecked with a jeweled roof. The pillars of the barn are made of solid gold, and the rubies the beams supporting the roof are made of rubies. So in these, in Nanda Maharaj's herd of cows, 900,000 cows, there are 108 groups of cows. There's 4 main colors. There's yellow, white, black, and red. Now there's also, there's 25 subdivisions within these 4 groups. Some are colored like sandalwood pulp. Some are adorned with natural tilak marking on their head. Some are speckled. Some have heads shaped like the mridanga, and some singha mukhi. They have a head shaped like a lion. They have a mane. So each group of cows has a leader. And when Krishna calls the leader, like, for example, one of the leaders of the group of cows is Dhavali. So when Krishna says, "Hey, Dhavali," Dhavali comes running over to Krishna, and her whole group comes over with her. And Krishna, when Dhavali arrives, Krishna rubs her snout with his pink lotus hand. And if a cow is missing from that group, Krishna, he uses his flute to call that cow, that individual cow. Which is quite amazing, because if there's 900,000 cows and Krishna can call each individual cow with his flute, that means Krishna has at least 900,000 ways of playing his flute. So when Krishna calls that cow with his flute, the cow bellows in ecstasy and comes running to Krishna. And of course, we hear from the Bhagavatam explains that some of the cows, the ones that have just given birth to calves, are not allowed to follow Krishna to the forest, that they have to stay behind in the compound. And the only way that they stay connected to Krishna is through hearing his flute. It's said that their cows have big ears. perfect for capturing the sound of Krishna's flute. And when the calves that are feeding from their mothers, they have the nipples of their mothers pushed into their mouth, they become stunned when they hear the sound of Krishna's flute, and they can no longer suck the milk from their mothers. And tears fall from their eyes. And in this way, they take Krishna into their hearts and embrace him. And of course, there is Rupa Madhurya. There's the 64th quality, Rupa Madhurya, that Krishna's beautiful form, that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Madhya Lila, that the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is non-different from the Kama Gayatri mantra. And this mantra is composed of 24.5 syllables. And each one of those syllables is compared to a moon. Just like Krishna has different parts of Krishna's body are compared to moons. Moon is very beautiful, very pleasing and soothing. So Krishna's lotus face is described to be the king of all moons. And this king of moons sits on the throne of his body. Krishna's left cheek is a moon. His right cheek is another moon. The spot of sandalwood paste on his face, that is considered a moon. His 10 fingernails are considered moons. His 10 toenails are considered moons. And his forehead is considered a half moon. So in this way, Krishna's body resembles the moon, is as beautiful as the moon. Rupa Goswami, he composed one verse describing the beauty of Krishna in a very amusing way. Rupa Goswami says, Smeram bangi traya parichitam sachivistirna drishtim vangshi nyasta dhara kishalayam ujvalam chandrakena Govindakyam hari tanamita keshitito pekante ma prakshitas tavalyadi sakibandhu sange sirangaha. He says, my dear friend, if you are indeed attracted to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Lord Govinda as he stands on the bank of the Yamuna at Keshigat, casting sidelong glances. He places his flute to his lips, which seem like newly blossomed twigs. His transcendental body, bending in 3 places, appears very bright in the moonlight. So in other words, Rupa Goswami is explaining that if you still have some affection for material life, do not look at Krishna. Because you'll become attracted to his form. And therefore, your material existence will be finished. Your material enjoyment will be finished. And actually, Srila Prabhupada explains that if one regularly, daily comes in front of Krishna in his form as the deity and has darshan of the Supreme Lord, then one will gradually become disinterested in the so-called pleasures of this material world. So Krishna is all attractive. It's amazing how everything is Krishna's energy, and everyone is attracted to something, one aspect of Krishna's energy. Like a rock climber is attracted to rocks. So the rocks are Krishna's energy. And the only reason why the rock climber is attracted to those rocks is because it's Krishna's energy. So Krishna is all attractive. We can pray to the Supreme Lord. We can pray to Srila Prabhupada that we can become attracted to Krishna, to his name, form, activities, pastimes. In that way, we can become disinterested in the so-called pleasures of material existence. Okay, I thank you for your kind attention. Is there any questions or comments anyone would like to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna
Very
Prabhu.
beautiful explanation of this word. Thank you so much. You have just made us aware that how Krishna is different from all others living entities, Lord Brahma. So with the four special qualities Krishna has, that is your first one is he's very much surrounded by the devotees. Childhood first time, Krishna's flutes and Krishna's beauty. And you get examples of how Rupa Goswami warned us not to see Krishna directly in Kesighat, otherwise you will lose the material attraction and you may be mad. Even Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that by seeing or looking at the deity every day or every moment, your material life will be finished one day and you can be relieved of this material world and proceed to back to Godhead. So this very much nice explanation how Krishna is Achyuta. So it's very, very interesting, and the way you explain with the examples is really very wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Any other questions?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. It's a very nice class, especially that how beautifully it is spread out the Krishna's glory. So I like that story of that pearl and that how he decorated the cows and the flute. It's very nice. And when you are telling, we can observe in the Krishna's how he is and how he is doing his activity. It's very nice class. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we have a question here. Can you please elaborate more on Prema Madhurya? Well, Prema Madhurya is Krishna is always surrounded by his loving devotees. I mean, we always like to have friends around, friends that we can exchange our loving sentiments with. You know what the 6 loving exchanges are. So therefore, because we have that propensity must be there in Krishna. So yes, Krishna, he loves to be surrounded by his devotees. I guess that's all I can really say on that. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kanil. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य
sindhubhyo
एव च पतितानां
patitanam
पावनेभ्यो
pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
वैष्णवेभ्यो
namo.
नमो नमः
Ananta
अनंत
koti Vaishnav
कोटि
Vrinda
वैष्णव
ki
की जय
jai. His grace Stambha Bhava Prabhu ki jai.
जय
Premanande, Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्णा
Thank you, Prabhu.